When keeping birds of prey, it's really important to feed them lots of different things, including quail, perhaps rabbits, and of course rodents like mice and rats and such. However, in falconry, we do feed a lot of these. Simply docks, as they're known, which are day-old chicks. And they can be chickens, usually male chickens, but they can be turkeys as well, a bit bigger. And there are two main reasons why we do this. One, they're quite easy to pull apart, like a leg for flying to the hand with a bird. Heads are quite good for throwing on the floor for a large bird to run around for, or maybe catching food in the air. And of course, sometimes you'll use an entire chick or an entire body for a larger bird of prey to fly to the glove, or if your bird's up a tree, looking a bit distracted, a larger piece of food may get the bird down as well. The second reason is they're actually quite cheap, certainly compared to the price of rats and quail and things like that. So most falconers will be using chicks for flying them and feeding. And there is something that is inside the body of the chick just here, as you can see being squeezed out in this clip, which is the yolk sac. And some falconers never feed the yolks at all to their birds, and I think this is wrong, and I'll explain why very shortly. There are also falconers who will always feed their birds the yolk that's in the chick and never think to remove it first, which I also don't think is the right thing to do. So what is the yolk sac? Well, it is mostly a fatty sac, if you like, but it's made up of over 80% water. So if you are feeding your bird that yolk sac in its food, then it's actually gaining more fluid that way. And of course, birds of prey get most of their water from the food they eat. It's called water metabolism. But along with the water and the fat, there's vitamin A and vitamin E and some other goodness which is really good for your bird. A bit like eggs are actually very good for humans to eat. And of course, not just the yolk, but the whole egg is what humans are now advised to eat plenty of. Very nutritious source of protein and healthy fats and vitamins, etc. And in the same way, it can be really beneficial for your bird. There is, however, some research that suggests that feeding any bird of prey too much yolk can lead to a higher level of bad cholesterol, which you do not want, and this can cause problems as they get older. So feeding the yak isn't going to cause problems very quickly, it's always about something much further down the line. Just like humans who eat badly when they're young and continue to do that, tend to get problems with their health later on in life. It's very much the same. So what I recommend, which is what I do, is feeding the birds half with yolk of chicks and half without. And really, if the chicks make up only half or so of the overall feed, then actually half of that being with yolk isn't really a lot of yolk throughout the week. So the bird should be getting the benefit of that yolk, but not getting too much of it. I put a link in the description to some useful articles on this very subject if you wish to read up in more detail.